The walls of Luthuli House are said to be trembling with whispers, secret meetings, and hushed conversations as top African National Congress (ANC) officials allegedly move to secure a future beyond President Cyril Ramaphosa. According to insiders, the ruling party's corridors have turned into battlegrounds of strategy and succession, with powerbrokers quietly drawing plans for who will steer the ANC into its next chapter. While Ramaphosa remains in office, his grip on power has reportedly weakened. The combination of internal scandals, a sluggish economy, and mounting dissatisfaction from ordinary citizens has fueled speculation that the ANC is preparing for a drastic leadership reshuffle. What has stunned many is not that such talks are happening, but the speed and intensity with which they have accelerated. Sources close to the party claim that several key figures within the ANC's National Executive Committee, NEC, have been holding private discussions about succession. These meetings, often disguised as strategy sessions or informal gatherings, are said to revolve around one critical question: who has the credibility, influence, and stamina to rescue the party's image and restore faith in its leadership before the next election cycle. The intrigue comes at a politically sensitive time. Ramaphosa has faced relentless pressure from multiple fronts, opposition parties accusing his government of shielding corrupt officials, factional battles within the ANC that refuse to subside, and a restless public increasingly impatient with service delivery failures and unemployment. As one analyst noted, the ANC is in survival mode, and survival mode requires planning for life after Ramaphosa. Speculation about potential successors is rife. Deputy President Paul Mashatal's name consistently surfaces as a possible frontrunner, with his allies painting him as a unifying figure who could balance warring factions. Others, however, push for younger, fresher leadership that could symbolize a break from the past. Some even argue for a compromise candidate, someone not yet in the public spotlight, but capable of rising quickly if given the ANC's backing. Behind the smiles seen at press briefings and public rallies, the reality is that intense calculations are being made about loyalty, alliances, and electoral appeal. What makes these behind-the-scenes talks even more explosive is their secrecy. According to reports, not all ANC leaders are privy to these conversations, creating an atmosphere of mistrust and paranoia. One insider described the environment as a chessboard where every move counts, and nobody knows who is truly in control. For Ramaphosa, this could prove dangerous, as history has shown that once the tide of succession begins to turn within the ANC, it rarely reverses. Publicly, ANC officials continue to project unity. Statements from party spokespeople emphasize support for Ramaphosa's leadership and deny any factional plots. Yet, the visible cracks tell another story. From conflicting positions on key policies to veiled criticisms aired at conferences, it is clear that not everyone in the party is content with the president's direction. The whispers of succession have already taken on a life of their own, with political commentators describing it as the beginning of the end for Ramaphosa's dominance. Outside the ANC, opposition parties are watching these developments with keen interest. Leaders from the EFF and DA have already begun positioning themselves as alternatives, hoping to capitalize on the ANC's internal strife. Meanwhile, ordinary South Africans, struggling under the weight of economic hardship, see little difference in the power games being played behind closed doors, their primary demand being for leaders who can deliver tangible results. The stakes could not be higher. If the ANC mishandles this transition, it risks alienating a large portion of its base ahead of the next election. On the other hand, if it successfully navigates succession, it may reinvent itself as a rejuvenated force capable of retaining power. For Ramaphosa, the challenge is clear: regain control of the narrative or risk being swept aside by his own comrades. As speculation intensifies, one fact is undeniable: the battle for the future of the ANC is no longer about whether Ramaphosa will remain leader, but about who will replace him, and how soon. Behind closed doors, Far from the cameras and podiums, decisions are being shaped that will not only determine the future of the party but also the destiny of South Africa itself. For now, the public waits. But those who know the ANC's history understand that when the plotting begins in earnest, the eventual outcome is almost inevitable. The real question is not if Ramaphosa will be replaced, but when and by whom.